guys, let's get right into this episode of Ready to Love. So Rashid is talking to Denise about her comments that she made to Adriana, and she says, "Let me start off by apologizing for her, because she claims that Adriana brought back the information wrong, but it's all semantics. You said what you said, and you're judging this man off of somebody else, which is not cool." She claims that she wasn't talking down about him, but he's clearly not satisfied by her answers, but at least they came to an understanding. Naya and Edwin have breakfast, which was really interesting. I thought Naya was locked up with Chris, but, you know, I guess you still have to entertain other people and see what's going on. And they connect over their traumas, and I'm finding this a lot about Chris. Chris seems to, they're painting Chris as a person who constantly talks about their pain points. You know, he's talking about his dog tags and wearing his friends' dog tags, and Naya talks about having 4 abortions and her other losses in her life, and they were getting to know each other on a kind of a deeper level. So that was interesting. You know, everyone's trying to stay on the show. So Alicia tells a group about the situation with Brian and how he stopped off at Alexis's room. And they all feel like Brian done messed up, and they didn't like the way he handled the situation. So they asked Chris how he would react to it, and he didn't even have words. He was just like, bleh. But they all agreed that he didn't handle it right. So then Joy brings up, because Winter's there as well, the situation with Simone and Jay going to her room and Simone telling them, and Winter felt that was taken out of proportion because he wasn't even there for long, and she was really hurt that Simone didn't bring it to her. So, and then Shay has to add in, she thinks that it might be a tactic for her to try and get in there through the girls, which would be a really bad move because the guy can't even trust you. It wouldn't be smart. But Shay is messy, so she would think some nasty shit like that. But the girls want to put a kibosh on it, so they both decide to talk to her as it's fresh and in the moment. So they sit her down. Winter explains to her that he was only in the room for a few minutes, but Joy says that it came off really bad the way she brought it back to her, and they wanted to know what her intentions were. And she's honest about being insecure in the moment, and she's used to guys chasing her, and in this situation she's in 3rd place. And Winter says that now she's heard what she has to say, that she feels really hurt, and you know, she's all about uplifting other women, so it really hurt her that Simone did this, and Simone wants to know what she can do to fix it. I found the conversation to be really respectful, honest, and caring. I love the way Simone was really honest about how she felt and that she had some growth to do. I really respected that about her. She didn't try to defend herself. She was like, I messed up. This is why. This is about me. This isn't about you. And how can I fix it? That is an apology. Okay, Candace and whoever else don't know how, who does the if you felt. No. This is what I did. This is why I did it. And I apologize. How can I fix it? Simple things. So the conversation brought all 3 of them to tears. It was very emotional, and it was a lovely exchange. And Simone admitted on camera that part of her is probably envious that these guys like her so much, and you know, she feels like she has some maturing to do, more than she thought she had, which is the case for everybody. So Chris pulls Brian aside. This is the kind of thing I need from my black men, okay? Pull these guys aside when they're doing shady shit. Don't just sit there and listen to your friends say dumb shit and not bring them to task. It really drives me crazy when you enable the bullshit. Okay, so Chris pulls Brian aside, and at the same time, Shay's telling Alex the tea about how Brian came to her room after being with Alicia. Chris asked Brian why he didn't clean up the situation with Alicia and he just ghosted her, and he said he didn't ghost her, he zombied her. And he was on his way to ghosting. Like, ghosting is like when you don't come back. He was gonna make his way back eventually. And he said that he explains that he really struggles with rejecting others. So Alicia then hops into the conversation with Shay and Alex, and she tells Alex that she thinks that he's just playing games. And Alex then becomes cautious because, you don't know. If he did that to her, he could do it to Alex also. And the guys are concerned because Brian has talked about the way he used to behave in situations, and they thought that he'd gotten past that. So I'm loving how these men are holding each other up and accountable and being responsible with that. Alicia asks Alex to call Brian over, and he comes over, claims that, oh, you're on the same page as me. He's full of shit. And she expresses that he hurt her feelings, and he said that he felt uncomfortable, and that he sees that he could handle the situation a different way. And he added that his intentions were good, but he did the wrong thing, and she just calls it BS. And the way he continues the rest of the episode and the things he says about it says to me that it was complete BS. And so she said that she felt stupid, and no woman wants to be made to feel stupid. And he apologizes, and she says that she will no longer be pursuing him. She wants to tell him to his face, which is cute, but at the end of the day, he wasn't pursuing you anyway. It was you from the jump that was like, I like you, I want to pursue you, and he kind of was going with it to see, but yeah. So that's the thing. When it comes to women pursuing men, some men say they love an aggressive woman, but I think in general, men don't like aggressive women, and they like to be doing the chasing and the work. And when they're not, and you have to constantly be moving things along, it's going to be like the rest of your relationship. So you can't complain when you're married to a man who can't make a move without you pushing him. So Joy then explains to Jay what happened with the conversation with the girls, and he's just further not feeling Simone at this point. Shay then tries to flirt with Rashid. She bending her ass over in his face and stuff, and it was just embarrassing, sweetie. It was like her sad attempt of flirting or trying to, make an impact somewhere in this group with guys and none of them are feeling her. He couldn't take all of that, and it's just her behavior, her nastiness, not nastiness, let me not say that, but the way she's handled certain situations, she just seems messy. Like, she's just it's almost like she's the girl on the outside. It's how she's made herself. I'm not saying that's what she is, but she's on the outside of the circle and she wants to be in, so she'll do extra shit to try and involve herself, and it just is it's not organic, authentic, and it's not a good look. So Jay then talks to Winter, and he says to her, listen, the drama has nothing to do with the two of them, so they're good. And he talks about how he sees her energy and her peace, and he's really attracted to that within her. And she talks about his quiet strength and seeing that he's a king. So they're still vibing, they're still in the game, but Joy is still his favorite. So we see how things go, because things can switch just like that. So Adriana and Kalfani are talking love languages, and she still feels like Rashid is the safe one, Kalfani is something different. And but the way she put it was, Rashid is a safe, good thing, Kalfani is a new great thing. So I'm starting to think, are you leaning towards Kalfani? Like, what's going on? So back to the tavern. The guys sit down with Tommy. Chris looking good. I'm saying, like, he's not my general type, but that chocolate, whew, the skin, the confidence in the way he holds himself up, the leopard print shirt, yeah, he looked good. So then they're saying which girls they like. Jay says Joy and Winter. Anthony says Winter and Denise. Kalfani has Denise and Adriana, but Denise is coming off a little bit jealous when it comes to Adriana, and he's not feeling that. So Rashid's just like Adriana. Chris says Naya. Brian says Alex. And Edwin says Naya, which, you know, Chris wasn't feeling. And Joy. So the guys talk about who they're not feeling. And pretty much none of them are really feeling Shay. She's very disconnected. When Edwin tried to talk about the things he was going through, she just made a whole stink about it. And she comes off like the homegirl. And Jay says, you know, he felt like Simone was caused a whole set of mess. Rashid ain't feeling Denise because of the calling him a narcissist and saying he's light skinned, this, that, and the other, blah, blah, blah. Tommy said he's really tired of this light skin, dark skin thing, and that we as Black people need to come together and figure out what this thing is, and like, when is it gonna end? And what do you guys think it will take to end this whole light skin, dark skin? I had a conversation that included that yesterday, actually. But what would it take to stop this separation of ourselves based on our skin color? So Tommy then says, do they think that Denise is aware that the situation that she's being triggered by is a pain point? And, you know, they are aware. And then Brian claims that he was feeling pressure from Alicia. And Tommy calls him on his bullshit. Like, the girl didn't do nothing wrong to you. You were the one who fucked up, and now you're making it her fault. Like, come on, bro. But he did it in a way that was funny. So it was like, we see you. So Alicia, Denise, and Shay end up being the bottom three. So Kalfani takes Denise for their talk. Edwin takes Shay, and who am I missing? Chris takes Alicia. So with Kalfani, he tells her how the guys felt they didn't like her reaction to Rashid and the things that she said about him. That she tried to reiterate again that it was that he had narcissistic traits and not that he was a narcissist, but semantics. And that Kalfani also didn't like that she was being jealous, and that, you know, it's early stages, everybody still got to make connections. He really wants to see growth. He really likes growth in a person, and that he really likes her. I love how they all started with how beautiful the person was and encouraged them and said, you know, these are the things that you could work on, which was really cool. I'm sure that had to be hard for him. So he was really impressed with the way she took it, and so was I, because I thought she was going to be very defensive, and it had to be very humbling, because the week before she was letting that I don't remember what that guy's name is, but the other guy go, and she was really smug about it. So it has to be interesting for her to now be in this position and take it like a G, which she did. So Chris then is with Alicia, and he says that, you know, the guys really love her energy, her jokes, her body, and she says, yeah, she has a real good homie vibe with all of them. So I was like, oh, and he's like, oh, okay, you've just put everybody in a homie zone. And, you know, he tells her that she's going home, and she says the only guy she was really feeling was Brian. So, and you know, he did her dirty, so she was ready to go. And he also told her that he checked Brian for what he did. So it was good that he reaffirmed that for her. She knows she's a beautiful woman. She's gorgeous. She can get a man anywhere. She'd be fine. And Edwin talks to Shay about the whole pool situation and how insensitive she came off. And she claims that she didn't mean any disrespect, but she clearly got up, was loudly talking shit, and was like she came here for love. Part of love, sweetie, is getting to know what a person's been through and seeing how you can connect with them and build with them. I don't know. For me, I feel like for her, love is just going to a comedy club. You just laugh and you bend your ass in people's face, and that's it. So anyway, she's gone. But I feel like the guys were all really respectful in the way that they handled the situation and the way that they hold each other accountable. So I'm loving seeing that level of a man in these shows. It's a great example, and it gives you hope, right? So after that, Denise goes on a date with Anthony the next day. She says she's ready to do the work. And I'm seeing this whole different side of her with him. She seems to be having fun. He gets her jokes. He really likes that she has a little bit of a bite to her, but it's not enough that it's scary. But anyway, they play the game. She loses the game, and she has to go skinny dipping in the pool. And she pulled out that body, and I was like, dang, girl, you got it going on. And he jumped in the pool with her. It was sexy. I was like, okay, give us something we can feel, baby. So, and then Adriana was talking to another group of girls, and she was like, I guess she thought homegirl was going home. So when homegirl didn't go home, she was like, oh, what am I going to do? And she just wondered if she should back away from California and let Denise have her playground with him. But anyway, moving forward, it's the ladies' turn again, but Tommy really wants them to see if they really have feelings for somebody or if it's infatuation. And this time around, their friends are going to come and join them. So you know when you bring other women around the man that you like, it becomes a zoo. So from what I saw, that's coming next week, shit's going to go down. So let me know what you guys thought. Sorry this is coming to y'all so late. Technical difficulties. But I'm glad I got this out, and I look forward to seeing you guys in the next review I do, which will be Real Housewives of Potomac. All right? Bye, guys.